DIY. It is me, Madison, and we're here with the Spring Bouquet. The Spring Bouquet is featured on our new spring menu. It's very light and airy and has all these beautiful soft colors in it, and it's very reminiscent of what spring is. So let's go through the flowers. And the first flower I have today here is Queen Anne's lace. I love Queen Anne's lace because it makes things look very wild and beautiful and light and airy. But most importantly, it's actually in the carrot family. That family, I believe, is called Apiaceae. And you can tell because it has this umbrella-like leaf shape, flower shape. That's why the family is also called the umbellifers. Fun little botanical fact. So you should have about 3 of those, and then we're gonna split these up so we can use all of the pieces that are on the stem. We have some beautiful tulips because what else is reminiscent of spring than beautiful tulips? I have these pink tulips right here. Now tulips are one of the flowers that when you put them in water they still grow, so they're going to wiggle out of your arrangement and it's going to be really beautiful. When you get them they might be a little smaller because we try to give you guys the most fresh tulips as we can, but as they sit in water they'll bloom really big and beautiful and you'll absolutely love them. Next we have our green, which by accident I already started greening my vase, LOL. But we have leatherleaf. Now this is not to be mistaken with baker. It's a very similar fern, but leatherleaf is a bit more shiny and baker has a bit of a more ashy tone to it. So you should have some of that. Next we have delphinium, which is also related to things like lisianthus. I love delphinium because there's not a lot of blue flowers inside of floristry, so usually when people want to touch a blue, delphinium is the go-to. It is absolutely gorgeous. Look at that beautiful sky blue. Very reminiscent of when you first have that first spring day, get out of bed, the birds are chirping, the sun's out, you're wearing a really light coat, and you look up at the sky and it's clear. Wow. Next, we're gonna do our spray roses. So we have these beautiful baby pink spray roses, or these blush spray roses. Again, spray roses are just roses that are in a spray, so they're tiny and they're more of a filler than a focal. Next we have one of my favorite white roses. This, yes ladies and gentlemen, is the candlelight rose. Now the candlelight rose is a very high petal count rose. It opens up beautifully and it's huge. And as it opens, it exposes that beautiful, soft, creamy, almost like warm, like candlelight, hence candlelight rose, center. That's absolutely gorgeous. So we have about 3 of those. And then last but not least, we have not watercress, pennycress. Pennycress has a little bit bigger leaflets on them, and they're absolutely gorgeous. They have this beautiful shape, and the texture is so cool and wacky, and I think it looks like it gives frog on a lily pad. It gives ephemeral pond filling up with water in the spring. It gives vernal spring. If anyone knows what that is, I see you, ecology person. All right, so you should have a little bit of that, and that's it. So let's get started. So again, by accident, I already started greening my vase, so we're gonna go in and we're gonna put in our leather leaf. I'm splitting up my leather leaf because I want to make sure I'm using all of these little pieces. I don't want any to go to waste, and I want some pieces to be taller. I really want to cross those leaves to make sure that I'm building my mechanics inside of my vase. And then as I split my leather leaf, the pieces that I'm putting in the water, I'm making sure that I'm stripping all of those little leaves off. Next, we're going to go in with our pennycress. I'm going to cut this a little bit shorter because I don't need all these long pieces of pennycress, really. And then I'm just going to take my fingers, drag it along the bottom so I'm not putting any of those little tiny leaves in my water. And then I'm just going to start placing these in fun little spots. Now the cool thing about pennycress is that it does have some cool gestures to it, almost like how I talk about bells of Ireland or snapdragons, things like that. So we're going to kind of use it almost like a linear as well. We're going to build shape with it, follow some of its gestures, have some pieces curving towards the front, some curving towards the back, really building out our shape with it. And we're going to use all of it because pennycress is beautiful and I don't want to waste any of it. All right, I got one more piece. I'm going to cut this one a little shorter just to build some depth and height. All right, gorgeous, gorgeous. All right, next I'm gonna go in with my other linear. We have delphinium. We should have about 3 stems of that. So I'm gonna actually split up my delphinium so I can get a few more pieces out of it. One, to make my mechanics stronger because leather leaf isn't the strongest, and 2, just to really fill out my base. You want that blue peeking out everywhere. So I'm really gonna go in with my delphinium and really hone in on splitting it up, making sure there's lots of pieces to use and to fill out my base. And again, with the pieces that look like that, I'm making sure I'm taking off all those little blue flowers just to make sure that there's no flowers in my water. No extra stems, no extra water, or excuse me, no extra stems, no extra flowers, things like that. All right, we got that in there. We have our delphinium, absolutely gorgeous. That next to the watercress makes me happy. Now we're gonna go in with our candlelight roses. So we're gonna take off these little tiny guard petals. I've never spun out a candlelight rose, so let's see if it likes to be spun out. A little. Be really gentle with it. It's getting caught in the threads of my raggedy, grungy t-shirt. So. There we go. A little bit, not really. It really didn't like being spun out. So we're actually gonna just blow on the middle. Beautiful, you see that center? It looks like white on the outside, but then when you look down the middle, it's such a beautiful warm yellow. It's like my favorite white rose. I'm obsessed with it, one would say. Whenever I can use these in the DIY, I jump to the occasion. And the fact that I get to use these all the time on our menu now, I'm a happy camper, I would say. Beautiful. Now, these could be reflex, but it's such a soft rose that sometimes with softer petal roses, I don't really like reflexes because they kind of fall flat. They end up looking kind of like waffle. Sometimes they're better for butterfly reflexing, so we can do that. That's where we curl these pieces inward instead of just doing like a flat reflex. We like curl them inward, and that looks kind of pretty. But this is such a soft rose. Honestly, the petals are gonna bruise. So you can do this for like looks, which is what I'm doing, but you don't have to do it. Matter of fact, I'm retracting that. And as you can see, I'm taking off so many layers of these petals, and there are literally so many left. This is such a high petal rose, or high petal count rose. It's absolutely gorgeous, and I'm obsessed with it. Put that right there. And then for our last candlelight rose, we're gonna put it right here. Perfect. And I'm gonna keep these a little shorter, some of them. Let me see the front, see how I'm liking it. Let me rearrange my delphinium so I can hold this candlelight rose up. Beautiful, beautiful. We're gonna go for like a kind of triangle, tiny shape today. That's what we're feeling. All right, so now we're gonna go on with our beautiful spray roses. So one, I'm gonna peel off all of these extra blooms that are kind of nasty looking. And then we're gonna try reflexing these. Now it might take a minute because you have to reflex every individual rose, but it'll be worth it, I promise. So what you do is I hold the head of the stem and I blow into it just to open it up a little bit. I peel back all the sepals, which are like those tiny little green leaflets around the edge of the head of the flower. And then I just do what I would do to a regular rose. I just take my fingers and I flip the petals inside out. It's just like a rose. They're just super tiny and cute. So we're gonna keep reflexing. Takes a minute, taking off all these little sepals, just really opening these up. I'm gonna take this one off. This one will open. Now sometimes you don't need to take the little sepals off to reflex other roses, but for sprays, you usually have to, because they're like really tight around the bloom, and they're not gonna reflex well if you don't. So, look at that, gorgeous. Then you just blow into the middle. I know it looks a little insane, but floristry is insane. Like, there's so much manipulation, and sometimes people look at what you're doing and they're like, you're abusing that flower. And it's like, yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do. So, all right, we have these two blooms right here. They look gorgeous. I'm gonna put them a little bit more towards the back. All right, so now I got my shape going on. Let me see how I like it. I'm liking her. I think I'm gonna move this one a little more back and up. We'll move this one a little more back and up. And then I'm gonna fix my blooms right here, just a little more. All right, so now I'm gonna go in with a bit more detailed things. So I'm gonna go in with my tulips. Again, these tulips are really small and tight, but like as they're in the water, they're gonna grow and they're gonna like bloom really nicely. So don't worry about them if they look small at first. Give them time, give them time. So I stripped off all the leaves of my tulips, and then I'm just gonna add them in cute little places. These cute little accents. Again, I'm gonna take this piece off. Take this piece off. This one's a little curvy, so what you can do sometimes is like kind of stretch it out just to get it a little bit straight. You don't want to tug it too much because it will break, but you just want to gently go up the stem and straighten it out, and then it's a little straighter, just a little. Do that one. I'm gonna put these together because a lot of times when you have things of one variety, if you put them together, it draws your eye to it. So you're gonna make sure that you're doing that. And then I'm gonna put this one up over here too. Again, we're stripping off all those leaves because we don't want any of that in our water. If it sits in the water, it's gonna get super slimy and nasty. We don't want that. So we're gonna just take it off, cut it a little bit, and then again, we're gonna take our fingers and we're just gonna gently drag your finger up it. Ooh, it broke a little bit, that's okay. Drag your finger upward, just like that. Just a little bit, not too much pressure. Again, see, it's a little bit straighter. And then again, I'm gonna stick that one a little more closer to the bottom, so when it's in water. I'm not too worried about their size, they're gonna grow. So we ain't too worried about it. Now last but not least, we have one of my favorites, Queen Anne's lace. Again, this is a beautiful plant that's inside of the carrot family. So it's related to things like carrots, wild carrots. It's umbellifers. I believe there's a poisonous one that looks like this. Don't go out into the wild and just eat anything that looks like this. You're not always eating wild carrots. So be careful, my botanical friends. We're gonna snip this. We're gonna take off some of those extra leaves on the bottom, and we're just gonna use some of these as like cute little accents, like cute little grassy accents. All right. All right, and then we're gonna go in with more of our Queen Anne's lace. Again, we really want to play with it. I love Queen Anne's lace because it really makes things look grassy. And one thing about me is the grassy look is one of my favorite looks in floristry. I love something that looks like it's from the pond, from the swamp, if you will. So we're gonna really use all of those little itsy bits. I'm not cleaning off too many of the greens on the side because I want to have that look going on. I am making sure that any of the greens that are beneath the bowl line, so they're not in my water, are gone. but I am keeping on some of these like cute little extras. All right, we're gonna cut that one a little shorter, take off some of those, make sure that doesn't go in the water. It doesn't. All right, and now we're gonna go and look at our arrangement and adjust for what we need. It's gorgeous, absolutely love it. It's beautiful, it's springy, it's wild, I absolutely love it. All right, and that is it for this week's DIY. So this week's DIY is absolutely beautiful. It's so springy, I love it. It has the first sign of spring, which are things like tulips in it. We have these beautiful like umbellifers, or also known as Queen Anne's lace. That's just the family it's in. And it's gonna add a beautiful grassy, but also very spring look that can be very beautiful and wild looking. We have these candlelight roses, which are one of my favorite white roses to use. Again, they're like a beautiful soft white, but as you peer into the center, they open up to be this beautiful creamy candlelit color. And then we have our baby pink spray roses and our blue delphinium. The perfect opening for spring, if I do say myself. As always, it's been a pleasure. I will see you guys next week. Remember, I love when you guys send me what you make this week, so make sure you send pictures with Flowers for Dreams Detroit, or tag us on Instagram if you post it, because you want to show off your work and you're a florist too. Or you can tag Flowers for Dreams, that's also on Instagram. Again, it's been great, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.